homeowners in over-the-hill communities encouraged to bring their houses up to standard or they could be demolished.
The law is specific in this regard, and it is in the building regulations under Chapter 200 of our Bahamas statute laws.
The teen murder suspect who escaped from PMH last month back in police custody. Op-ed talks about human and drug smuggling, and summer theater comes to the Bahamas.
We rehearsed for a month and now we want to take the plays to the parks, the different parks around Nassau.
I'm Nakia DeVoe and this is NB12 Weekend. Joining us this Saturday evening, just days after a Bainstown and Grantstown resident alleged that Urban Renewal tore down the house he was living in without warning, newly appointed Urban Renewal co-chair Algernon defended the decision and gave us a rundown of the laws governing the process. And according to the law, the government can demolish a home without the owner's permission. Since the program was launched in June, Urban Renewal officials have already demolished several structures that they deemed abandoned, unlivable, a haven for criminals, or environmental hazard. Yesterday, Allen produced the Building Regulations Act, Section 10, which empowers the minister responsible, in this case Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Urban Development Philip Brave Davis, to restrict the use of any building in the Bahamas or have it demolished.
A building can be demolished either by the consent of the owner or where, say, they are constructed on Crown lands. For instance, if someone goes and constructs a building on Crown lands, it can be demolished without any further protocol. They can just send the tractors in and take them down. Where the owner says, works with the government and says, we need you to take down this building, it also can be done.
But a structure does not have to be on Crown land to be demolished by the government, and the owner does not have to give consent if the building does not pass the government's inspection.
That if it appears to the minister that any building or structure or part of a building or structure is in such a condition or is used to carry such loads as to be dangerous or is by reason of its ruinous or dilapidated condition seriously detrimental to the amenities of the neighborhood, then the minister can serve a particular notice either by sending it to the owner or posting it on the property.
Once a notice to begin repairs or demolish the building is issued to the owner or posted on the structure, they have 30 days to begin the process of bringing the home up to standard before the Ministry of Works tears it down. And get this, if the owner refuses to make the necessary upgrades, they are, by law, responsible for reimbursing the government for the cost of demolition and clearing. 4 buildings have been torn down in Palmetto Street, several others throughout various over-the-hill neighborhoods in New Providence. Officer at Bains and Grantstown Urban Renewal Constable Cyril Walks explained what the next step is.
We plan to convert these vacant lots into green spaces, parks for the children. We also want to start backyard farming, okay, in these areas, get the young people involved, okay, and beautify the area. That is what we all aim to do.
A resident of that area told our news team that he and his neighbors are big fans of Urban Renewal and the demolitions. He said not only does it beautify the area, it also provides employment.
By cleaning up the environment and then the saving crime, stopping on the crime too, because plenty of the young fellas in the area, they helping in the community, and Urban Renewal is doing a wonderful job by hiring them. You know, they're saying because instead of a fella coming to you or me asking us for $5 or $10, that look good on the government to help them.
Co-chair Cynthia Mother Pratt said Urban Renewal is not just about tearing down buildings, but rebuilding and repairing broken communities. Remember last month when a teenage murder suspect who was detained at the Princess Margaret Hospital escaped police custody? Well, that 17-year-old is back in the hands of police. The resident of East Street South was arrested in eastern New Providence around 6 yesterday evening. He fled PMH around 3:30 a.m. on Thursday, June 28th. He's accused of stabbing 22-year-old Javon Mullings to death on Monday, June 25th. He was the second prisoner to escape police custody at the government hospital last month. Well, police have taken a 23-year-old man in custody for Thursday's theft of an armored truck in Cable Beach. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, confirming to our news team that police have been questioning the man since his arrest around 4:15 yesterday afternoon. Police say ICS Security Concepts had yet to report the total amount of cash that was stolen. The truck was stolen from outside Burger King at Hoffers Plaza around 8 p.m., according to Roll. As the armed guard was guarding the truck, he was reportedly accosted by a man with a handgun. According to police, that's when a second suspect jumped into the driver's seat of the truck and was followed by the gunman. They eventually abandoned the truck nearby on Hampshire Street. Although one arrest has already been made, Roll says police are still following additional leads in their investigation and we're still on the hunt for additional suspects. Well, two Androsians discovered the body of a man reported missing on that island. Police say that he was discovered in waters at Cargill Creek, Andros, at 1:15 p.m. Wednesday near Henry Dock. Police did not give any more information on the man's death or his identity, but did say that they're continuing their investigations. Operation Bahamas, Turks and Caicos has been in existence since the early 1980s, but just 6 years ago, the continuity of the program was called into question after it was revealed that the U.S. Army would be pulling out of the program. But half a dozen years later, OPAD officials say the program is still stronger than ever and has taken on the relatively new role of combating human smuggling. Our Jasmine Bonamy has the details in this next report.
The partnership between the U.S. Coast Guard, Drug Enforcement Agency, and local law enforcement continues to be the glue that holds together Operation Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. Director of OPAD Louis Parks says he sees it as a long-term partnership. Commander Parks added that the program has played a huge role over the past 3 decades.
OPAD is a multinational interagency partnership between the United States, the Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos. And primarily our role is to support the Bahamian government and their effort to combat illicit drug trafficking through the Bahamas.
When the program began in 1982, up to 90% of the cocaine smuggled into the U.S. from Latin America came into Florida through the Bahamas and the Caribbean, according to U.S. officials. But today they say most of the cocaine now moves across the U.S. southwestern border, in part because of the pressure on traffickers operating off Florida's coast. Today, marijuana and human smuggling is a key concern. DEA statistics indicate that since 2000, the program resulted in seizures of more than 25 tons of cocaine and 82 tons of marijuana.
The U.S. Coast Guard, in its role within the OPAT program, we are a multi-mission oriented organization. So, in just about any maritime law enforcement capacity that the Bahamas government would ask, we try very hard to support. And that includes alien migration interdiction operations, counter narcotics like I spoke to before, and search and rescue.
In June 2006, the program came into question by then Secretary of State Donald Rumsfeld, who pushed for the U.S. Army to pull out of the program. Rumsfeld claimed he wanted to shift military assets to the fight against terrorism. Soon after, the U.S. Coast Guard replaced the Army's Black Hawk helicopters with their own. Commander Parks insists the program will continue to thrive.
Well, OPAT will always support the U.S. government. We'll always support the Bahamian government as best we can, regardless of any changes in any stances on any of their laws. We're here for the long haul, and we're here to support the Bahamian government in every manner that we can.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.